Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Now for global business updates. Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Abasi. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Vimbai. Good morning to all our viewers there. Hey, we have to start in Nigeria. Big story on the front page of ThisDay Newspaper, Nigeria's newspaper of record. Let's put it on there so that our viewers can take a look. Apparently, there are some shareholders who have about 10% holding collectively in First Bank, which is, of course, under the holding company, FBN Holdings, First Bank Holdings, Nigeria Holdings. They are demanding an extraordinary general meeting, right? And the purpose of that meeting, apparently, is to have the chair, Mr. Femi Otedola, who I like to call the strong man of the capital markets, along with the deputy CEO of Gerigu Power, Julius Omodaya Owetoga, ousted. Now, you got to go into the article and read it. What they are alleging is that Otedola was somehow assisted into getting his shares to control First Bank from the former central bank governor of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. And apparently, the former CEO, Adituton, were called into his residence, that is Emefiele's residence, called Otedola there, and said that he was going to assist him in acquiring those shares. Remember, Otedola became a non-direct executive director August of 2023. Then he became chair in January of 2024. Apparently, after that took place, the first person he, according to the shareholders, kicked out of office was Adituton, and then he replaced him. And I think the first or second paragraph of the article says that since he's taken over, the bank has not known peace. So they are calling for this extraordinary general meeting to have everyone get together, and they are worried that he's going to go rogue somehow and run the bank down. So that, again, according to the allegations in this particular article. Now, obviously, we have to wait for the EGM to happen. We're going to have to get apparently more details. We need to know who these shareholders are, and get more details on these allegations, because again, they are allegations. Now, as far as what is publicly known, what is the ethos of Mr. Otedola since he's taken over? So I want to remind everyone about, I don't know if you all remember our debates on the windfall tax on banks, on their unrealized FX holdings. Many of us in the business community came out against it, didn't support that windfall tax, but Otedola was the first chair of a bank to come out in favor. And I want to pull up a quote where he talked about how banks should be run. So just a reminder here, here's what he said. If you remember, it is crucial for banks to focus on operational efficiency, technological innovation, and customer service rather than executive extravagance. Nigerian banks are spending an estimated $50 million annually on maintaining private jets, with over $500 million going into purchasing 9 jets by 4 banks. This level of extravagance significantly erodes public trust. So, and then there were, stories of some party that was thrown that was extravagant, and there were consequences for that. So his ethos has been cost cutting. Another thing, if you are looking at the impact of a new chair or somebody with a name as big as his on a publicly traded institution, for us, and for me anyway, we look at the numbers and say, how has certain metrics performed under the tutelage of an individual? So for Mr. Otedola, if we go and look at the share price of FBNH Holdings since he came in, let's remind everyone, 14th of August 2023, he became non-executive director. The share price of First Bank was 18 naira 30 kobo. Move forward to January the 2nd of, this is after New Year's, so he became chair in January of 2024. The share price was 23 naira 65 kobo, so that was almost a 30% appreciation in the share price between that period. As of yesterday, First Bank closed at 31 naira 45 kobo. I think it was up about 6%. So taking it from, in fact, that 1 year, from January to 2024 up to January 8th of yesterday, 2025, that's another 32% appreciation. In fact, you can add the both of them, and that's almost like, 60-something% since he became a non-executive director. So, just looking at it on the outside, it's been mostly positive, right? In fact, very positive since he took over the bank. So again, we've got to, you look at the numbers of how the bank has performed. That's on the one hand. We have to get more information from this extraordinary general meeting when it happens, and then we see what takes place after that. But I do encourage everyone to read that story. All right, let's go to China now. Something Dr. Abati likes talking about a lot: the deflationary pressure in China, second largest economy in the world. The new inflation inflation figures that just came out. Year on year, we have December headline CPI at 0. This is year on year, not month on month. 0.1%. November was 0.2. Core CPI 0.4. This is when you take out food and energy. 0.4%. It was 0.3. PPI is where the problems are. That is producer price inflation. Minus 2.3%. In November, it was minus 2.5. So there are still many, many fears on the deflationary territory in China. To round off, Detty December, we finally have some data from an investment advisory firm. I want to put the head of the firm here, who tweeted this at Kaide Omoshe. We've actually had him on the Global Business Report. It says, Detty December in Nigeria, where did the money come from and where did it go? We were consulted by a client to do an independent research on the economics of Detty December. The focus here, these numbers are on Lagos. So let's quickly just run through these figures. First of all, the 2024 review, they said it was about 550,000 inbound passengers to Lagos between November the 19th to December 26th. 90% of them from the diaspora. The top 5 originating nations, the US, Canada, Italy, South Africa, and the UK. The top destinations, Lagos, Edo, Delta, Ondo, and Ogun State. Let's quickly jump to the next, I think it's hospitalities, in terms of the amount of revenue that hospitality is here. Hotel bookings, 54 billion naira, using 1,500, about $36 million. 15,000 confirmed hotel bookings, according to Mo Africa Company Limited. That's what Kaide runs there. Food and beverage, 13.5 billion. Let's quickly run through the next data point. Again, focusing on Lagos. Short-let bookings, about 5,937 of them booked. Average rate about 120,000 naira per day. Estimated revenue about 21 billion. The top 2, Echo Atlantic and Banana Island. Jumping to the lounges and nightclubs, top 15, earning about 4.3 billion naira within that period. Average daily sales about 360 million per table average. So for like the table we're sitting at here, 1.2 million. And then the next one is, well, the exotic dancers. You can see the headline there. But anyway, top 3, 2.5 billion. 2.5 billion where the exotic dancers perform across 8 major nights. And we understand that Oniru, Ikate, and Lekki Phase 1 were the top 3 locations there. And then event centers. Well, look, it is a service that's performed. The event centers, about 100 of them earned about 1.2 billion, about $800,000. There were about 1,175 bookings recorded, top 2 Eco Hotel and the Monarch, and I think the final one is car rentals. The data on car rentals as far as that period is concerned. Do we have the car rent? Yes, we do. Etiosa local government areas where they focused on $1.5 billion in revenue, earned from about 750 high-end bookings, average daily rate about 200,000, some daily rates up to 2 million. That's our updates for today.
Fantastic, Rotus. You know, we're always talking about data and, give us data, give us some real numbers to work with. So I love that, whoever this client is who commissioned this, So we're also grateful for this information. And it's very important that this was a focus on Lagos State. But I believe there was quite a bit of activity in a number of other states as well. So it's now very imperative for these state governments, we've been looking at these subnationals, right, to dive deeper, do more in-depth surveys of this information, whether you get like a Deloitte or one of these, to get more insightful data, more detailed data, so that we can now turn it into some sort of actionable points, right? So we know that, okay, this is the economy of Detty December. How can we plan around it? How can we ensure that our visa processes, this is now on the immigration side, on the federal government side, our visa process is smooth. Okay, this is 90% diaspora, fine. What are some of the services that we can incorporate? How can we support small to medium scale enterprises who experience a boom in this period? Around that same December, I remember, is when the Chris Brown concert took place in South Africa, and they were saying that Chris Brown concert, I think, brought in about $100 million into Gauteng, just the one province. So it's now a question of, okay, so what are the investments we can make? Because clearly this is a low-hanging fruit. It's organic.
And Lagos is reaping the benefits.
Lagos is reaping the benefits. Ghana, if you remember, spent millions of dollars on the year of the return, and it was buzzing for about 2 years, and then it just died down. This is something organic. So honestly, I really hope that we don't have a Ministry of Tourism anymore, do we? But I really hope that the Minister of the Creative Economy, I believe, who now covers tourism, is also paying attention, as well as the subnational, so that the necessary investments can be made. Now, with regards to the boardroom drama drama between Femi Otedola. Well, it's not between Femi Otedola. These shareholders and these allegations and so forth. I love how you put it all together. Is that ultimately, gosh, we know if you've watched Billions, Suits, all these TV shows, you know that so much happens behind closed doors in boardrooms. So we're looking forward to the report from that EGM, if it does take place, and whatever the findings will be, so that the public can have a deeper understanding of what the issues really are.
Certainly.
Absolutely. For the oldest bank in Nigeria, First Bank, I think it's important. Like you have advised people, you can read the full article. ThisDay Newspaper is the leading story this morning. But a number of allegations, and they remain allegations until proven, because when we were speaking about how Mr. Otedola emerged as chairman, I said it's he who alleges must prove.
Right.
So there must be proof that was what happened, that it was a sitting room arrangement between the former CBN governor and the new chairman. I like how you were able to highlight some of the successes that have been experienced. So beyond the politics of things, is he showing working? Are there results to show for it? Absolutely. Nevertheless, it also raises a question on First Bank's governance process in terms of how strong, and I think it hurts the bank if they're not able to sort this out, because it would erode shareholders' confidence, it would erode customer confidence if you're not able to have a good governance structure that ensures that you know things are done properly and due process is followed. And that's why, just reiterating Vimbai's point about the importance of a thorough investigation to ensure that if these allegations that have been made are proven. But beyond that, again, it's the prerogative of these shareholders who control 10% of the stake in First Bank to call the emergency, the EGM general meeting, and then really trash out the issues. Are the allegations of what is purported to be high-handedness true? He's wanting to take control, majority share through almost like the back door. Is it true? So these are some of the conversations, but it's good for us to begin to talk about this. We must strengthen governance processes in our financial institutions. They play such a critical role, in the economy. But very important, Rotus, I've been talking about the economy of dirty December.
Certainly.
This is the dirtiest December that ever dirtied in the history. I think, at least since when stats were being taken in Nigeria. But I want to just talk about a few things. Some people have said that the reason why we've seen these high numbers, because last year was clear. Before statistics came out, we saw the evidence on our roads, on the infrastructure, just how many people came. 1.2 million people were said to have come into Lagos alone. Right. So you can imagine why we had traffic every single day. Some people have attributed this to weak currency, so making it more attractive. And that is, in some instances, what we've talked about the benefits, if there is, of weak currencies. You attract more, investment, at least more patronage from people from abroad. Then the jackpot syndrome as well. Because a lot of people who came back were people who have jackpot, and because they had to come and visit, there are people in Nigeria. And also integration, when you go abroad, or you have the opportunity to really market and come back home. Now, what should governments do to maximize and take advantage of this? I hope that next year, because I believe that next year will be bigger. Right. A lot of people have said they had such a fantastic experience and are coming back with even more people. So get ready, Lagos and the other states. You're going to have more people. Better infrastructure. Let's look at the roads. Let's look at transportation in Lagos, the biggest, the commercial capital of Nigeria. Telecommunication was a mess over December because I think the numbers were too much for them to manage. Let us deal with that. These are basic infrastructure that makes visits like this or tourism attractive to people. Let's not send away this market or this economy that we are building. Beyond that is the top 5 destinations. I saw Lagos, Edo, Delta, Ondo, and Ogun State. And I'm surprised that states like Calabar, who have the Calabar Carnival, was not listed. Right. It used to be such a big deal that people would travel from far and wide, book hotels, and the economy for locals. Some people would make their annual income in just 1 month because of that period. Right. So Akwa Ibom as well has Ibom icons. We have some southeastern states. We have the north has some very beautiful. So we need to project this. I'm not even going to look at the center. I'm going to focus more on the subnationals. Take your destiny into your hands. Maybe you will not be arguing about the tax reform anymore if you're able to. You're productive and you're able to take advantage of of economies like this. I think it's fantastic that this research has been done and that business owners, small business owners, should study it and see how they should strategize for this year in terms of positioning their businesses to meet the demands of this economy. Brilliant one there, and Lagos. And then also, finally, I'll just say, create targeted tourist events around them.
Right.
Lagos had the festivals they did. So make it attractive. Have websites. We have the Fly South Africa. We have Dubai tourism websites. Very strategically inviting people to come and enjoy what they had to offer, and most importantly, the benefits to the people and the impact on GDP and the economy of the country.
For sure.
Okay, let's cut through the chase. Now, those states that have been highlighted, and Lagos taking the bulk of it, what are the reasons that all of a sudden Lagos was the major destination for tourism by Nigerians abroad? They all came home. We had an interview with Dr. Iyadune Gbadebo, the director of marketing of Eko Hotel, on ThisDay Live, which went viral. She stated the amount of money that people will have to spend, the package for the year 2024 December. Now, and the hotel was fully booked, overbooked even. Every hotel in Lagos was overbooked because people came home, they came from everywhere. Now, why is Lagos such a preferred destination? I think credit should be given to the Lagos state government. 1, for prioritizing tourism. 2, for providing a secure and enabling environment. It used to be the case that many Nigerians abroad will not want to come home. They'll say, we will not have electricity. We will have, crime issues. But they all came to Lagos, and we did not learn of any serious incident during that dirty December period. And the various, systems, businesses in the tourism and hospitality sector were also encouraged to provide opportunities for people to come home, so that Nigerians who are abroad, the Kemi Badnoks of this world, can realize that, look, people like Anthony Joshua can come home, work freely, eat suya at a polo club, go to hotels, relate with people, and dance oble, and return to his destination safe and sound. I think it was a major achievement. But we would like to see, beyond the states that have been mentioned in that survey, activity in other states of Nigeria. Every state in this Nigeria has a tourism potential. And tourism is an aspect of the economy that Nigeria can develop. There are countries in Europe who are even turning tourists away because there are too many people. The second reason why many of our people have come home also is the weather in December is very tough abroad. In England, it's about minus 20 degrees centigrade. So people came here, just to come and have fun. One year, I spent my Christmas in the Gambia. You come and see the number of foreigners there because this weather has become so extreme. It's killing people in California, in Los Angeles. People are looking for a place where they can have a better relationship with nature. It should be a challenge for government at both the federal level and the subnational level to provide opportunities for tourism. Now, to go to China, you have quoted the figures, 0.6% month on month, CPI dropping, headline inflation, dropping, consumer price index, also slipping to about 0.1%. What is the meaning of all this? In September, China introduced a number of what they call stimulus measures. Now, those stimulus measures, they had an effect in November because we saw expansion of factory activity. But what these figures that came from the National Bureau of Statistics of China this morning, what they mean is that, look, the measures may have worked temporarily, but China still has challenges. Consumer demand is still very low. And so what are we going to get? Is it more stimulation? Is it that the deflation will continue? And even if the IMF has had to revise its projections for the outlook of China. But the more important thing that happened yesterday was the December meeting reports of the Federal Reserve in the United States.
Yes.
Now, that December meeting report, the dot plot of the members show that there's going to be a slowdown in terms of rate cuts. The contributions by the various governors at that meeting also indicated that, look, we should recalibrate our expectations in terms of interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve, beginning from January 2029, when the Federal Reserve, meets. Third, that there is anxiety about Donald Trump the report did not explicitly mention his name,
Right.
but there was a lot of anxiety about what the incoming, administration will do,
Yeah.
particularly with tariffs, particularly also with trade policy. And we have seen, even beyond what the Federal Reserve pointed out, yesterday we were talking about the ISM report also.
Yes.
The critical one again will be tomorrow, Friday, when we have the December jobs report.
Yes.
Now, inflation in the United States in November was 2.4%.
Yep.
Now, they are hoping that by 2026, they will bring down the long-term federal rate funds to about 3%, and then probably meet the objective of 2%. But the big elephant in the room is Trump 2.0.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Today, as I pointed out earlier, Keir Starmer is meeting with Macron. What will we do with Trump? Olaf Scholz, the French people, they are meeting and saying Trump should not disturb us in the EU. He should not even think of coming to take Greenland.
Greenland, yeah.
The Canadians are saying there is no chance in hell or heaven, wherever, that Canada will become the 51st state of America. Mexican president is saying that, in fact, America should not talk of Gulf of America. Instead, they should talk about Mexican America. The president of which country of that is that? Panama.
Yeah.
He's saying that
the canal. Yeah.
it's not true that the Chinese have taken over the Panama Canal.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a bliss as we build up to Trump assuming power on January 20.
Yes.
I think we are prepared here
We are very
to
prepared.
take on all the issues that Trump will impose on the global order.
Indeed.
These are the challenges as I see them.
Indeed.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you all. Thank you.